what it means to me is that I can control everything. That's what it means to me. I can go ahead and bring my own wallet in, and when I'm done, I take my wallet and I go on and do what I want to do. You know, control.
Exactly. That's what it means to me. I mean, there's different levels of custodian of what it is. This one is nice. It's open source, which I like. He's been posting all the source code up there, and you can see he just did an update 14 hours ago. So it's pretty active. You log in right now. He supports the Albedo wallet. I really like the Albedo wallet. It's got your balances, your activities. You can have multiple wallets. This is
Mm-hmm.
just purely using the DEX, and it's using path payments. I think strict path payments. And
Right.
that's basically what we're talking about today is how to get a better price. So it shows you, I've used Stellar. So it's getting the price from the DEX. I'm going to change it, just make sure it's up to date. So if I trade one lumen for $1 USD dollar, it's telling
Mm-hmm.
me the rate is 6.3 or 0.578. So let's go back and check Kraken. Make sure we got a good rate.
And I hope you guys follow along because what he's doing is making sure that he's getting the best deal. And this is something that you guys can do back and forth. If you're using Kraken or another centralized exchange, definitely have another screen open on the Stellar Dex. You may be surprised on what you may find.
And this one, we're getting a better price. Look, this is at 16 cents.
See?
And on Lumenswap, it was 15.7. So we're getting 0.3 cents cheaper.
See there you go. Good example.
I'm going to do just a quick one. So it sets your slippage tolerance. So that would be useful for bigger trades. I'm only trading one lumen here, so I'm not too worried. It asked me to verify against my wallet. Oh, done.
There we go. So look, now
So
let's view it on the Explorer, right?
yeah, and it'll take us. Oh, they've got their own Explorer.
Oh, look at that. All right. Shout out to Lumenscan.
It's doing a path payment like we discussed.
Awesome.
And it's going through. It's going from US dollar from my account. There you go, and it sends it back to my account.
And this was a real bona fide forex exchange, essentially. Once again, just to recap, you looked at Kraken, a great, by the way. Shout out to Jesse, great exchange. I love to use. But in this case, you got a better deal on the Stellar Dex. Took advantage of it, and that money is right back into your wallet. This is non-custodial. You can go ahead and sign off and take your personal funds wherever you choose, securely.
And look at this. It created trust for the USD because I didn't have it in my wallet.
Look at that. So is that a protocol 15 right there?
I don't know what protocol it is, but it did create this. I've got the 16 cents roughly in my wallet, and it created the trust line. It's great. Well done. Well done,
right.
Lumenswap.
What's going on, man? Hey, as you can see, I've been on top of you guys for a long time. Shout out to my good friend Anthony Barker. I keep my ears to the streets. George Naylor, advisor, Lumenswap, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Sam. Thanks for having us. How are you?
Doing good, man. Let's start off. Why don't you just give a quick introduction of yourself and tell us how you got connected to Lumenswap?
Yeah, sure thing. So I've been in this space since early 2017. Quite quite a lot of us who found Stellar, sort of maybe found our way through Bitcoin and Ethereum, but soon dived down the rabbit hole. And once I found Stellar, never looked back. And so and ever since then, I've been sort of involved in the community on Reddit quite a bit. And just paying attention to the ecosystem, to the Stellar ecosystem, to see how it's been developing. Time's gone on, and I've ended up advising several early stage projects, and one of them has happened to be Lumenswap. So we connected about 4 or 5 months ago now, and been working alongside the core development team to develop their proprietary token, their native token, LSP, as well as further sort of biz dev and marketing use cases too. So it's been great to join them. I'm really enjoying working with them. And yeah, it's great to be here with you today to chat about what we're doing.
Great, great, great. And we'll definitely hop into a lot of that. Let's start off. I guess there are several other DEXs, SDEXs, platforms that currently exist. So the first question is, why Lumenswap? Why is it necessary?
Sure. I think to start with, the front end we've developed is really straightforward and easy to use. So it's very, very clear how you can hop on, as you showed sort of before in your clip. You can go to Lumenswap, connect your wallet, and instantly you've got immediate access to any asset that is listed on the Stellar DEX. So that's something that can seem really easy, but actually is super important. And so that's something that the team have worked really hard at to make sure it's as user friendly as possible.
Right.
So yeah, you can see that, and actually, for example, it straight away to the native token of the Stellar network XLM, and it's as easy as it is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Connect your wallet, and then you can trade with whatever's in your wallet. So at the moment we've got apart from 3 third-party wallets supported, you can also use your private key directly too, completely safely. We don't store any of that data, so that's completely secure. And yeah, you can get trading sort of straight away.
Man, I love it. I love it. It is real simple as I show with the video. I have one quick question. Any thoughts of maybe adding the ledger directly, you think?
Yeah, 100%. So we're in the process of talking to the Ledger team. That's something we'd love to have. So many people use hardware wallets like Ledger. So we are in process of talking to the development team so we can add that functionality. It's definitely a priority of ours.
Nice. I love it. So we looked over here. We looked over here at the app. The website looks really nice and clean. Wanted to, I guess, let's talk about some of your different milestones that you guys have put out. Let's start over here. I mean, your second milestone, I'm assuming the first was getting the whole thing started, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's a pretty big milestone, yeah.
Yeah. So this was definitely the first milestone, absolutely. But you guys did roll out June 7th spot trading.
Mm-hmm.
Why was this an important feature to add?
Yeah, sure. I really kind of simply, whenever you're using a swap client, like Lumenswap, it can be quite difficult to actually understand price history and price action. And to understand what the asset you're swapping into, what the price action is, and actually, for deep liquidity and sort of well-organized assets, this isn't a problem necessarily. But actually, we want to be able to give the end user as much information as possible, so they can make as informed a choice as possible when swapping. And so, by being able to check, the live data on chain of any of the assets, trading pairs, as you can see, we could actually sit here, all day going through any asset we want to on the Stellar network, but you can see roughly what the price history is. And so, most of the time it probably won't make much difference. You'll go ahead and swap. But let's say, we've just gone through a period of, high volatility, and you're trading, say, crypto to crypto, not crypto to stablecoin. Then maybe you might want to hang back and make that swap at a later stage when things have stabilized a bit. So it's just giving the user as much information as possible, so they can be as informed as possible and get the best price as a result.
And you can even add a custom pair. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
A lot of people I'm sure are watching this that really don't even understand that this is a native feature that Lumenswap has tapped in, that's on the Stellar network. And my mouth is salivating at the thought of an open Forex exchange, essentially, that you can go. Inflation is going on right now, and if I wanted to go ahead and go park in the euro, let me see. You got China. You got we got to get. Let's see, Canada. Where's Canada at? We got to add Canada here. But this is wonderful. I love it, and shout out to my guys at Turn. You have a lot of great options. BTC, Ethereum. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So that's definitely great to see. I'm glad to see you guys actually add that feature. Yeah, I know, Harold, man. I get excited about this stuff. So that was that one. Let's go on to another milestone that you guys announced, which was adding the stably USD asset. It's I'm sure that a lot of thought and decision making goes into what you add. Can you give us some idea as far as why stably was chosen as the next asset?
Yeah, sure. As you say, so we really put a lot of sort of effort and research into sort of listing assets, especially sort of fiat sort of digital fiat tokens as well, or hybrid fiat tokens. So when we've sort of done our research and we've sort of come to a decision, what we're looking for is we're looking for some really high quality assets, and assets that are going to add a lot of value, not just to people using the Lumenswap sort of client, but also to the Stellar network in general. And it was just one of the sort of assets that really stood out to us and ticked all of these boxes. And so obviously having a greater sort of amount of, or a greater choice for users is really important. But aside from that, having quality assets is sort of almost more important than the breadth of choice. And so really it ticked all the boxes for us in what we would like to see on the Stellar network at large. And want to be used. We want these assets to be used and to have greater liquidity, so they are more useful. So really it sort of ticked all these boxes, and we were really excited to be able to sort of list it with Lumenswap.
So, out of curiosity, I'm sure a question that's going to come up is, while there is the option to have a custom peer, if there was somebody on the Stellar network that wanted to be featured here, how would they go about that process of getting added?
Yeah, sure. There are a number of ways. It's very, very easy, as lots of people watching will know, to create a token on the Stellar network. And so, you could go about just sort of creating your own token, and then, contacting us through various channels, and then we can, discuss, what your asset is about, and we could custom this from there. Or it's possible to do it in a more grassroots way, because this is a permissionless network. We aren't the gatekeepers, we're a front end. It's not up to us what is and isn't listed and used on the Stellar network. And so then actually you can just create your token and never speak to us. And people that know about your token can add their asset through our front end. So there are two ways of going about it. And they're both sort of really, really powerful ways of going, of making sure these assets are usable.
Ah, man, that language just warms my heart. Not the boss. That's right. I can do whatever I want. Stellar Dex. I love it so much. Let's go back to the website. So, let's see here. So, I guess another milestone here, and this is a big one. We talked about this prior to coming on. The LSP asset that's been announced as a third milestone. It says here, in order to achieve Lumenswap's ultimate goal, which is a perfect client for trading and swapping assets on the Stellar network, we decided to represent milestones as the evolution. And the third milestone of the Lumenswap evolution is the LSP asset. So, I've never been shy to say this. Anyone that's followed me knows that I've worked up a good reputation. I've earned the trust of a lot of people out there at all different levels. So whenever I hear an asset, my first question is always, what's the utility? Because I feel as if a lot of people, especially that are currently involved with Stellar, and if you hear the language that's being used, is a lot of focus is on the utility of the token rather than just the speculation of it. It's so I'm really happy to have the time to talk with you and wrap my brain around what the LSP asset is and exactly how it fits into the overall ecosystem.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I think, to start with, we've put a lot of time and thought and energy into really developing the utility of what we want to be our native asset for Lumenswap. Um, and so as a result, we've decided that our greatest asset is the Stellar community and the Stellar network as a whole. We wouldn't be here today having this conversation, without that. So as a result, we have a 10-year time frame, a 10-year emission time frame, and everyone can go on our Medium now and have a look at how we're breaking down the distribution of the token. But the vast majority of the tokens are going to be eventually distributed to the community. For not just for the community to be able to sort of participate in, but to be able to use. And sort of so we're going to have everything from ecosystem rewards to advisor rewards and other sort of programs, and so that people can actually sort of really feel like they are they're being able to sort of have not just have a say, but have an interest in the direction of our platform. Um, so we're currently, this is a side note, we are currently working on potential sort of governance model, whether that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
turrets or pendulum, but that remains to be seen. But we're keeping it, as a stellar project. This is going to be Stellar native, so we want to keep as much functionality on the Stellar blockchain as we can. And then the whole point of the asset is going to be bootstrapping liquidity for Lumenswap and therefore for the Stellar network as a whole. So it really is a utility token first. So yeah, happy to answer any questions on that. But that those are our core aims.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. I love the fact that you guys are really focused on making this a stellar based platform first. That's really great to hear. So you mentioned utility of the LSP asset.
Mhm.
Well, one, I guess, give some examples of how the token will be used on the platform. When I was reading through it, it mentioned that there's other exchanges that have used have created a token, a tokenomics or a token as part of their platform. Some have been very successful at this. Quite a lot have not been. And there's also been projects that's come up in the past that on the network that have introduced a token that they haven't really utilized in a great way. So let's start off with that. How is it going to be used exactly within the Lumenswap trading platform?
Yeah, sure. So for starters, I think it's important to reference where we are now with the Stellar network. At the moment, the Stellar network, has this amazingly powerful DEX,
Mm-hmm.
and is completely permissionless. And so, to start with, we will be listing LSP, on the network, and it will be sort of we're tradable, and we're going to make sure that there's sort of really good liquidity through through the tools that we have available now. But that's really just the beginning, because actually, so much is happening behind the scenes, whether it's the CAP 38 proposal for AMM architecture, things like this. And so really, as soon as liquidity architecture is added to the Stellar network, we're really going to be able to ramp up our efforts to make sure that liquidity through LSP, but also then sort of as a conduit to other tokens on the network, is really, really improved. And so that's why we're developing a sort of a hybrid model, where we're not only just going to have sort of we're not just going to have deep liquidity, whether that's automatic or otherwise, but we're then going to be bringing in governance as well, and the community elements, so that in the future, hopefully, that we can whether it's going to be a share of the base fee through Lumenswap, just like on Uniswap or SushiSwap or other sort of mechanisms. That's something that we're going to be able to implement really, really quickly, and is on our sort of our development roadmap as well. And so it's definitely a journey, and we're not the finished product. We're not, we're not going to switch on the switch tomorrow and be like we're all singing, all dancing, sort of, stellar version of Uniswap. That's, we're not going to pretend we're there, but we have some fantastic developers with us, and a team that's really sort of adopting the latest stellar network developments as soon as they happen, and we're really looking to capitalize and build on that, and LSP is really going to capture and represent that value that we hope we're going to bring to the network.
So if I understand correctly, so right now the LSP is in its current state, it's to really try to build up a financial base, so that way Lumenswap can then have the manpower and the abilities to take advantage of the next phase of developments. You mentioned the TSS that's being developed. You mentioned Pendulum, which, to disclose, I'm an advisor on. That's being that's being developed in the works, to try to figure out how then the tokens could be used to then be I guess in some other sort of way. You mentioned governance and whatnot. So these use cases here on the main screen has LSP use cases. These are basically proposals at this point as far as how it will be used. Like, for instance, we'll distribute 25% of total assets between LSP holders. Monthly distribution will continue for 10 years.
So yeah, that'll happen from the get-go. These rewards and use cases will happen from the get-go. This is the thing, right? So we just want to be really upfront with people that we are absolutely building our use cases and utility into this token and into Lumenswap. So from the get-go, the rewards for holders and traders, we will be able to execute. But ideally, we would like to be able to become more decentralized and have, for example, these contracts execute automatically, right?
Right.
And so, so we can start taking a step back, and then the community, can start stepping in, with the governance we get on board as well. And these decisions can be made on a community-wide basis, as opposed to, like the SDF or anyone else, can start taking a step back, and they can start saying, well, look, the network knows what it wants, and the community want to vote on it, and let's let that happen. We're going to take a step back now. So it's that extra functionality that we'll be adding, but the rewards and everything will be from day one.
Awesome. You guys have had a couple other things, and it kind of, I guess, goes into perfectly the Lumenswap ambassador program. One thing that I would say about you guys publicly is that you guys have managed to do something a lot better than I've seen other projects do, quite frankly, is engage in the community. A lot of times, I can't count how many really great ideas that I've seen from developers and people that have these great business ideas. But it's one thing I learned when I first got into business is that you have two jobs, right? I don't care if you're a doctor. Your one job is to, pull teeth. Let's say you're a dentist, right? Is to pull the teeth and do that. Your other job, which is equally as important, is to, engage and to lead generate, is what we call, right? You have to engage and lead generate for your business. And you guys have really understood that. You haven't waited. You haven't sat there, pulling on SDF to do something. You haven't harassed me either. I mean, you guys have really engaged and got involved. So where did that come from? Just quickly. I mean, and also, what advice would you give for other folks that have these great ideas that I mentioned? What would your suggestion be for them to get involved and have similar success?
Yeah, sure. I'll keep it brief, but I think if you're going to be building a decentralized permissionless project, then why should your communication be permissioned, right? And yeah, it's great.
Wait, hold up. Time out. George. Oh, man. See, when you speak my language, man, I get excited. Why Listen, folks, why, if this is a decentralized network, why even worry about going through a centralized system, man? That's beautiful. So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think so that ethos, has been with us from the start. So we're not going to, we love collaboration. It's not saying we don't want to collaborate. That's not, it's not the same. But we're not going to wait for, for permission for people to, retweet or broadcast. We're just going to get started, and we're going to get started by trying to communicate as best we can our core message. Why we're here, why we love Stellar, why we're doing what we're doing, and so, in terms of advice, I think it can be really easy to overcomplicate these things. If you've got
Mm-hmm.
something you believe in, and you're working on something that really excites you, just try and communicate that as best you can, and people will pick up on that, and people will find that exciting. So many people, I think, should but don't build for whatever reason, because they're scared, because they're worried, and I understand, it can be really difficult, but it's so exciting when someone has something that they're building and they're really excited about, and just
Absolutely.
just try and share it as much as you can.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said. So, going in right here, you guys have this Lumenswap ambassador program. Briefly, just
Hmm.
share with us what this is, and how others can get involved.
Yeah, sure thing. So hopefully it's really clear from our medium, but basically we are looking to onboard Lumenswap ambassadors from all over the world. This is a Stellar family. We're a Stellar community, and we want to have that representation. This isn't just about one country or one part of the internet. And so, as a result, as Lumenswap grows, we're going to need more and more community help. Whether it's going to, helping to manage the, socials like Telegram and Discord, but also teaching people how Lumenswap works, and generally just sort of, guiding people, guiding newcomers. But obviously, lots of people are really generous in doing this, out of the goodness of their own heart. But we want to reward people, so we've actually come up with, an ambassador, return or rewards program, where the ambassadors that are selected through our application process will receive a monetary value each month, and we've said for up to 3 years. So we
Wow.
are going to be rewarding these ambassadors. Yeah.
Great idea, great idea. Once again, just another great example of how you guys have managed to, really engaged, and that excitement that you guys have shared has been there. There's a couple. I guess the last one to kind of jump on is you have a looks like a YouTube
Mm.
competition. Tell us about this. Another one
Yeah,
of your
sure.
engagements.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I am not, I love watching YouTube. I am not a YouTuber. And I think we recognize this as well at Lumerswap, right? We recognize where our strengths are, and where our weaknesses are as well. And, we would absolutely love to see, this, community driven content, especially for people that really get YouTube and really understand it and love it and want to be on it and want to share our message. And so as a result, we're going to be holding a competition, for whether it's just explaining how Lumenswap works, how to make a trade, and or just really short, crisp explainer, and basically create your own content, tag us in the hashtag Lumenswap review, so we can find your work and judge it. And then 2 videos will be chosen and given $300 prize each, for their efforts. So we're going to be holding that competition, really soon. And anyone that is a YouTuber or a YouTube native and loves Stellar and loves Lumenswap, we definitely want to hear from you and see your efforts.
Awesome, awesome. Is there a hard date timeline on this?
No, not at the moment. If you obviously, so many of you are following us on Twitter, we'll make sure we'll give a hard deadline so everyone gets that. We won't just close a competition without telling people. We'll give people a hard deadline. At the moment, it's open, so there's definitely no time like the present to get recording.
Absolutely. Look, George, it's been a pleasure to speak with you. I think that you answered everything that we can kind of go through here. Any final thoughts for the community as far as maybe any upcoming events or updates to share?
Yeah, definitely. Just to keep an eye on our socials. We've got really exciting plans coming up for Q3, Q4 with further functionality, as well as obviously our main event coming up, which is going to be the LSB token sale, which we're natively hosting on Stellar. This is something that we're keeping in house, as it were. So it's been fantastic to be able to talk about Lumenswap with you.
Yeah.
And to be able to share this with the community, and we're a community project, so we want to hear from everyone, and we want to talk to you, and please, if you're really interested, sign up to our ambassador program. It's something we're really excited about, to get as many people from as far and as wide as possible involved with Lumenswap. That's something we'd love to have and grow. So it's been great to talk to you today. Thanks very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. At Lumenswap, very simple. They're very active in the community. I'll end with just kind of showing just a lot of the things that they do. Let me show you real quick, guys. They you guys put a lot of good information out there, which is beyond just talking about Lumenswap directly. This is a good medium on their website here. Change the finance infrastructure of Stellar, where they break down. So just to say, really appreciate all that you guys do, and thank you for stopping by. Everybody else, stay tuned. We got more shows. Some really interesting things that are on the horizon, I believe, and I'm really excited to share. Hopefully soon. I'm going to be speaking later today with a company that's building out of Africa, and they're tapping into D-Stock to offer stock. So some great shows that are going to be around the corner. George Naylor, thank you for joining. Hang out for a couple seconds. To everybody watching, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Sam.